Welcome to 1623 Studios for the Gloucester Municipal Election Candidates Forum. The municipal election will be held on Tuesday, November 2nd. For this forum, 1623 Studios invited the candidates to record a statement of up to 4 minutes. Their statements are shown unedited and in the order that they appear on the ballot. For the 2021 election, there are 7 candidates vying for 4 Councilor at-Large seats. The candidates for Councilor at-Large are Robin Hubbard, Peter Cannavo, Tony Gross, Jeffrey Worthley, Incumbent James OHara Jr., Carlton McKay Jr., and Jason Grow. Here now is candidate number 1, Robin Hubbard.
As Gloucester approaches its 400th anniversary, we find a city very much in need of leadership and direction. Like it or not, Gloucester belongs to all of us, and we need to work hard to bring people together again. People are desperate for a breakaway candidate, someone who can be the voice of reason, a person who is a big picture thinker, someone who has the strength and courage to be a leader, a listener, someone who can bring people together again. That would be me. This whole concept of bringing people together again involves simply regarding ourselves first as a community and not warring factions. Then and only then will we cease the practice of making big, expensive decisions that cause enmity and distrust among neighbors, decisions that divide people, and rather instead choose to listen to one another. That way, everyone feels like they are included in something bigger than themselves, a community, and that they matter. I am a fortunate woman indeed. I grew up in Gloucester and raised a family here. However, the Gloucester that many of us grew up in is changing, and unfortunately, many of our children cannot afford to live here. Living in Gloucester has suddenly become a luxury item, and this frightens people. Imagine being frightened. Imagine being priced out of your own community. Gloucester needs broad-based public participation, transparent processes that include residents and not just unelected consultants. It needs accountability to chart the course for Gloucester. I want to be a city leader who can once again bring people back into the loop where they belong, so they are afforded the respect and courtesy which is their birthright, and be allowed to participate meaningfully in discussions and deliberations, so their wishes and desires are reflected in the shaping of the larger community. Now let me explain the kind of campaign we are running and why. We want to run a precinct-level campaign. I used to consider the precinct to be the smallest political unit in the city, but the fact is I am and you are the smallest units, and we all matter. We want point people in all the wards. People will help us garner support and interest in my candidacy. People who can find the things and issues in each precinct that need to be addressed, fixed, or improved. For instance, what needs to be done and what isn't getting done. If anyone listening is interested, please contact my campaign. It is imperative we return to broader public participation and inclusion if Gloucester is to move forward culturally, socially, and economically and succeed. It is imperative we make decisions in a way that do not foster hard feelings. I am appealing to everyone, of course, both men and women, but want to make a particular effort to engage the women in the community. We need you now, more than ever, to model for everyone how to conduct ourselves and make this a better place for our children, for our parents, for visitors, for strangers. No matter your persuasion, please know you are valued and wanted. We need you to step up. We have a place for you. I urge you to get involved in something bigger than yourselves, the idea of community. Help me work with others as we take on the many challenges facing our city. Don't settle for the same old names and faces, the recurring status quo candidates. They are part of the problem. Rather, choose someone different, someone who can resurrect the idea of community by taking the time to listen to everyone and present and defend the will of the people. I am asking all of you for your support and your vote on November 2nd. It will be a good day indeed when the people of Gloucester, who after all are paying the freight, once again have a voice that's heard and not muzzled. Please call us with any suggestions, advice, or concerns at 978-290-2462.
That was candidate number 1, Robin Hubbard. Here now is candidate number 2, Peter Cannavo.
Hello everyone, I'm Peter Cannavo and I'm running for Councilor at Large. I'm 38 years old, born and raised in Gloucester, along with my 2 younger brothers. A first-generation American, My parents immigrated from Sicily to Gloucester in the 70s. My mother worked at Gordon's for 20 years, and my father recently retired from ground fishing. I ran from a blue-collar family, much like the rest of Gloucester. After graduating from Gloucester High in '02, I pursued my dreams as a builder. I also worked in the food service industry part-time for many years. Those years helped me build valuable skills and lifelong lessons I take with me everywhere I go. I share these details of my life to give you a better sense of who I am and my character. I respect hard-working, honest people, and that's the same attitude you'll get from me as your counselor at large. From apprentice to journeyman, I continue my education at Wentworth Institute of Technology and work as a Local 3 union bricklayer. Today, I'm a foreman for one of the most awarded companies in the Boston area. However, my greatest achievements are marrying my beautiful wife, who blessed me with 2 beautiful boys. This is one of the most encouraging reasons why I decided to run for counselor at large. My 4-year-old will soon be entering the school system, and I want to ensure the best future in doing so by getting involved. I have volunteered many years to various youth programs in Gloucester. As vice president of the Gloucester Boxing Club, we provide a service to the youth in our community that's 100% volunteer. Our mission is to mentor and provide a safe environment for kids, especially the ones that are in need of alternative ways to express themselves confidently. I'm also proud to serve on the zoning board for the last 2 years. I've learned much about our local ordinances and have a great deal of respect for my fellow board members. My experience and knowledge will bring value to the council. I believe that by increasing public engagement and collaboration, we can tackle many issues on the horizon effectively, such as infrastructure, waterfront, trash, small businesses, and much more. I would focus on safety, schools, and seniors. This is all very broad, but we need to prioritize and do things right the first time as to not waste taxpayers' money. With safety, we need to provide the needs to our first responders so they can provide more services to keep our community safe. Traffic mitigation to ensure safe passage, responsible development. As a coastal community, let's be smart about development on the waterfront. I advocated against a new building at the Cape Air Marina because it was not responsible development. Constructing a building of that magnitude in a FEMA zone is not sensible or safe. I'm not advocating against development. I'm advocating against irresponsible development. For schools that publicly endorse vocational courses, as I know they provide more avenues for career paths and financial stability. Last but not least, our seniors. We need to continue partnering with the state, local, and private investors to develop more real affordable housing. Recently, our city created Ordinance 5.24 ADU. This means that homeowners can have a second accessory dwelling unit on their property to a capacity, paving the way for more housing at affordable rates. I publicly endorsed this the last time, and I will continue to create and endorse creative and innovative ideas to ensure our residents can grow old here. Repairing sidewalks by all senior living homes. That way our seniors safely walk to the market and the church, and not worry about tripping or falling. At 38 years old or young, I want to be the bridge for the younger generation and the older generation to collaborate with our goals and needs. And with some common sense, we can get a lot done. Follow me on Facebook at Peter Cannavo for Gloucester City Council at Large. On November 2nd, please vote for me, Peter Cannavo. I'm number 2 on the ballot, but the number 1 choice for you. Gratitude to Studio 1623, and thank you for listening.
That was candidate number 2, Peter Cannavo. Here now is candidate number 3, Tony Gross.
Hello, my name is Tony Gross and I am running for City Councilor at Large. I'm a retired fisherman and a lifelong Gloucester resident with decades of service to our city. Gloucester is a special place with a unique character. It's built on granite and surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean. Gloucester has always been fearless, independent, and entrepreneurial, and I will fight to preserve that spirit, and I ask for your support. Experience matters, and I have a lot when it comes to working for our community. I've served on the Gloucester Waterways Board for 12 years, 9 years as chair, and the school committee for 13. Other committees I have served on over the years include the Municipal Harbor Plan, the 2011 City Charter Review Committee, the state's On-Site Wastewater Treatment Committee, and the committee to annually review the city's master plan. And I regularly volunteer at the Open Door delivering meals and doing curbside pickup. As with most of Gloucester's fishermen, I've had a varied career. I spent time working in construction and did a stint as a home inspector. I worked at the Gloucester Wastewater Treatment Plant as an operator, mechanic, and eventually assistant plant manager. With the possibility of Gloucester needing a new wastewater treatment plant, my experience and understanding of the process will be invaluable. During my time as Waterways Chair, we reorganized and modernized the Harbor Master Department. We got $1.6 million in grants to build the visiting boating center and docks, created first-rate launch service, and dredged the Annisquam River. I'm proud to say that Gloucester is now listed as one of the top 10 American ports to visit. This is bringing more money to downtown without increasing traffic or parking congestion. The citizens of Gloucester deserve to have their tax dollars used wisely. While on the school committee, I served 6 years as chair of the Building and Finance Subcommittee, a tremendously important role given the approximately $42 million a year school budget. I checked and signed off on every expense, and I made certain that all funds were spent appropriately. As a city councilor, I will use my experience, skills, and expertise to ensure that the council's oversight of the budget is done thoroughly. I believe I am particularly well suited for the City Council's legislative business. Getting things done in city government isn't about being the loudest person in the room, but about having strong, effective working relationships. I have successfully worked with the majority of the city department heads on a variety of projects to actually get things done. Gloucester is going through big changes in its economy and development. As a city councilor, I will make sure that this is handled responsibly with an eye to preserve what is most important and to make changes where it makes sense. We also need to make sure our kids have access to housing they can afford. The recent rule change that allows for a second housing unit to be added to an existing house lot is a good example. Fixing the housing issues will not be simple or easy, and we need city councilors like me who know how to work with the planning and zoning department to find responsible, common sense solutions. Being a retired fisherman, Gloucester's working waterfront is very dear to me. I've been working on the waterfront since I was 14. I have watched the fishing industry go from its heyday in the 60s to the reduced state it is in today. As the City Council helps navigate these challenging times for the fishing industry, my knowledge will be crucial in preserving the needed affordable dockage and infrastructure. When zoning changes are proposed on or near the waterfront, I will ensure that the impact on the working waterfront is responsibly represented and addressed. I will bring no-nonsense experience to the City Council and will love to have your support to help me get elected on November 2nd. Thank you.
That was candidate number 3, Tony Gross. Here now is candidate number 4, Jeffrey Worthley.
Hello, my name is Jeff Worthley and I'm running for City Council at large, and I hope I can earn one of your 4 votes. I was elected as a large city councilor 20 years ago, and after buying a home in Ward 3, I ran and won the election as a ward councilor. Serving at large and in a ward gives me a unique perspective where I can assist each of our ward councilors. In fact, a few years ago, an incumbent city councilor asked me to organize and lead a half-day new councilor orientation to help councilors get up to speed. Since I last served in the city council, I've had the best blessings in my life. I'm a single father for my 12-year-old son and my 11-year-old daughter, who are both in Gloucester schools. For 12 years, I've run a financial service practice, and I've continued to volunteer for nonprofit, charitable, and municipal organizations, as well as our schools. I have stayed involved. I began to consider what this next city council would look like. Certainly, I mean no disrespect to any of the candidates running, but there is the possibility that the majority of the city council could start on January 1st with 0 legislative experience. The city's business will not wait until they are ready. Whoever is the next mayor will be presenting a new chief administrative officer, and hundreds of volunteers will be up for renewal to the various boards and commissions, just a few short weeks into the new year. The council will need to vet those appointments, and in 4 months, the mayor will present a $140 million budget that will need to be reviewed, possibly amended, and approved. I have personally worked with each of the returning ward councilors, and I'm committed to helping the newer councilors learn so we can effectively carry out our responsibilities to Gloucester residents. My financial, civic, and professional experience, as well as a strong interpersonal skills, will be a positive asset in our next city council. We are truly blessed to live in Gloucester. People from around the world want to visit and would love to live here. And can you blame them? That demand has made property values skyrocket and has put incredible pressure on our younger residents' ability to stay here. We are in danger of losing the current and next generation of Gloucester-born residents. We keep hearing from candidates that affordable housing is a major problem in our city. I believe words matter. How we talk about our community impacts our community. Affordable housing is not a problem in our city. Affordable housing is the solution. The solution to ensuring that our older residents aren't forced to move away and that our younger citizens can continue to rein in and contribute to our community. Since we can't limit homes to only Gloucester residents, we can't simply build our way out of this. We need to work on the other side of the coin as well, by better preparing our students for and to attract the kinds of businesses that provide the kinds of jobs that can give our residents the kind of income needed to afford homes in Gloucester. Some candidates have alleged that I'm a pro-business candidate. I wear that badge with honor. I don't think we can be pro-Gloucester and not be pro-Gloucester business. I am blessed with a good upbringing and a positive outlook. I effectively served you as a city councilor before, but I didn't do it alone. I'm grateful that my experience has been shaped by some of our most renowned city leaders, many of whom have passed away, but not before passing on the lessons of leadership. Between that experience and training, my education, my proud voting record, and my drive to do what is in the best interest of Gloucester residents, I am 100% prepared to serve and lead as an at-large city councilor. And even though I have considerable life and municipal experience, of the 23 candidates on the ballot, I'm the third youngest. Not only do I have the energy and drive to work for Gloucester residents, I'm not only interested in solving current day problems. I can envision the next 50 years. We need to build not for today alone, but for tomorrow as well, so that our children's children can inherit a better Gloucester. I know how to get things done. I'm ready to assist each of my colleagues on the council. I respect the work and role of city employees. I know the job of a city councilor inside and out. There are a number of good people running for city council, and I humbly believe I am the most qualified. And I ask for one of your 4 votes on November 2nd. Thank you.
That was candidate number 4, Jeffrey Worthley. Here now is candidate number 5, James OHara Jr.
Hello, I am City Councilor at Large Jamie OHara. I've proudly served taxpayers and citizens of the City of Gloucester for 3 terms or 6 years. We have many issues within our city. I am most proud for standing up for a citizen taxpayer of the city who stood before the City Council and was denied to speak. I stood up for her. I'm very proud of that. I am a small business owner. I employ citizens from our city. I ask for one of your 4 votes on Tuesday, November 2nd. Thank you very much.
That was candidate number 5, James OHara Jr. Here now is candidate number 6, Carlton McKay Jr.
Hello, the citizens of Gloucester, Massachusetts. My name is Carlton B. McKay Jr., and I'm running for Councilor at Large. I've grown up in Gloucester all my life. I grew up actually over in East Gloucester, which is part of Harrison Ave, Eastern Ave, where I attended my first school. It was, and I stayed in touch with my first grade teacher until she passed away, Barbara Wyman. I've loved this city. I've always stated, love where you live where you love. And that has been my motto throughout everything. I've taken photos of sunsets, beautiful settings, and I just love this city. I'm talking to you live from 1623 Studios, and I'd like to thank them for this opportunity for letting me get my voice out there. A little bit about where I come from. I started with, growing up in East Gloucester and attending the Fuller School, the O'Malley School, a graduate of Gloucester High School, and then moved on to North Shore Community College. I used to live up on Harrison Ave, and then I met my partner, whose also name is Carl, which gets to be a little humorous around town, as you all know me. We then bought our house on 160 Washington Street, little sideway house right there. It's amazing. I've worked all my life in the service industry in Gloucester, whether it was a hotel, restaurant, and I've done everything from washing dishes to bartending at many famous establishments. That's how a lot of you will recognize me by my face. But you might not recognize my name, Carlton. I started up growing up with the name Chip, and then we went with Carlton, and we shortened it a little to Carl. It was a lot easier for people to spell because they always forgot the E. So that's a little bit of where I grew up and my beginnings in Gloucester. In the past few years, I've worked very hard with helping the homeless population at the food pantry, at the KPN Animal Aid. A lot of you will recognize me from all my fundraising efforts. In the past year during COVID, with the group, we are all in this together, where we raised thousands of dollars to help those less fortunate and with medical needs during COVID. I personally raised chickens on my property, and I was able to give out 522 dozen eggs to people in need during COVID. I've always been a believer in animal rights, elder abuse. I will back the police department fully. I do not believe in defunding them whatsoever. They are there for us, and they have always been there for us. Even though there have been issues in the past, they are a good group of guys. Believe that everybody in the city needs to have a voice that's heard. If I am elected by you, which I know I will be, I will make sure, to the best of my ability, that I can make the citizens' voices be heard at these council meetings. That is the biggest thing that I have been told, is that there is no transparency. You, the citizens, have no voice on anything. And that is why I want to get into office, is I want the citizens to be heard for once. Whether it's a small little pothole complaint or if it's something major in your neighborhood. So I thank you and I appreciate it, and I hope to see you out voting on November 2nd. Thank you very much.
That was candidate number 6, Carlton McKay Jr. Here now is candidate number 7, Jason Grow.
Hello, my name is Jason Grow, and I'm a candidate for one of 4 at-large seats on the City Council. As a former 2-term Ward 1 City Councilor and the chairman of the Budget and Finance Committee, I bring experience and integrity at a time when the Council is losing 4 members and their collective years of experience. I believe deeply in the strength and autonomy of the City Council as the co-equal part of our city government, and I take its role as the representative of the city's residents seriously. If you don't know me, I have been a professional photographer for 32 years, the past 26 years of which running my own small business here in Gloucester. As a corporate photographer, I believe in giving back to the community, investing in projects including the Cape Ann World War II Veterans Project and the Family Portrait Project, photographing families during the pandemic to raise money for the Open Door. I've been married to my wife Sarah for 31 years, and we have 3 awesome daughters, Matilda, Jemima, and Maisie, all educated in and graduated from the Gloucester school system. I'm a surfer and a beekeeper. The City Council has a critical role in maintaining the checks and balances of municipal government to ensure that the voice of the community is heard. As a council, we need to be willing to collaborate with the mayor's office, but offer pushback when appropriate, and always consider the long-term ramifications of our decision-making. What we must not be is a rubber stamp. Instead, we must challenge assumptions and ask meaningful questions along the way. As idyllic as our island is, we're all aware that there are ongoing issues that need serious attention. Affordable housing and housing that is affordable. Perhaps the greatest threat to the Gloucester we all know and love is the stratospheric rise of property values. Sure, it's great for property owners who want to cash out, but not for our next generations who want to raise their families here, or seniors who are financially trapped in too large houses because there's a lack of affordable senior living. We need to support the creation of more affordable housing so our children and our seniors can stay and live in their community. Infrastructure. Too many of our roads are a mess. We need to work with the community, the DPW, and the state to find creative ways to address this. Additionally, the city is living on borrowed time with respect to upgrading our sewer treatment facilities. We need to plan an effective strategy to pay for it and get it done. Economic development. While we must endeavor to maintain our traditional maritime industries, especially the remaining fishing industry, the essential tourist economy, and the creative economy, we can't ignore that we need additional sources of well-paying full-time jobs. We're on a mainline commuter rail. We have an exceptional quality of life to offer our residents. We need to encourage and support serious efforts to locate commercial and industrial businesses here in Gloucester. Climate change. Rising seas and more powerful damaging storms aren't going away. We must do all that we can locally to ward off the consequences of climate change. This means looking critically at waterfront zoning, building seawalls in vulnerable areas, and encouraging the use of renewable energies. Education. We have a very good school system that sends graduates to some of the finest colleges and universities in the country. We also have outstanding vocational programs that prepare students for excellent careers, but we also have challenges that our neighboring school districts don't share. Approximately 275 Gloucester students utilize school choice at a net cost to Gloucester of about $2 million per year. We need to properly and fully fund our schools and keep Gloucester students and our tax dollars in this community. 21 years ago, Sarah and I went in search of a community to raise our children and set down roots in. We found that community here in Gloucester. In that time, we've enjoyed an incredible quality of life, made dear friends, and deeply appreciate all that Gloucester has to offer us. It is with that sense of appreciation and desire to give back that I now seek your vote. Thank you.
This concludes 1623 Studios Municipal Election Candidates Forum. A reminder that on November 2nd, the polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. The deadline to register to vote or make changes to your voter registration for the municipal election is Wednesday, October 13th at 8 p.m. One note for Ward 1 Precinct 2 residents who normally vote at Veterans Memorial School. Due to the demolition of the school, your precinct polling station has been moved to the new YMCA facility at Gloucester Crossing. The City of Gloucester is also accepting vote-by-mail and absentee ballot applications for all 2021 elections via email, fax, and regular mail. The deadline to submit an absentee ballot or vote-by-mail application for the 2021 election is Wednesday, October 27th at 5 p.m. The deadline for absentee ballot in-office voting is Monday, November 1st at noon. To download the absentee ballot or vote-by-mail application, go to gloucester-ma.gov/337/elections. Lastly, poll workers are always needed and paid from $170 to $225 depending on the position for the day. If any resident is interested in being a poll worker, send your inquiry to elections@gloucester-ma.gov or schedule an appointment at the city clerk's office and apply by calling 978-281-9720, number 2. I'm Corey Kukru for 1623 Studios. You can watch live coverage of this year's debates and elections on Channel 12 and our social media outlets. For more news on this fall's elections, please sign up for our newsletter at 1623studios.org. Thanks for watching, and thank you to the candidates and city officials for your public service.